Pois bem, todo mundo pegando seu respectivo herói e vamos que vamos.
Справедливо. И что он сделает? Вот просто на него начинают нападать два пацана.
Не сделаешь ничего.
Все, они как бы кентавр хорошо, может там...
Ivy, Hoof Stomp, Soul Catcher plus Double Edge just sounds so painful to me. So yeah, I would dodge that any opportunity I could on a hero like Gyro. But being said, I think the Darkster is going to be pretty happy to contest it, and most likely the Tusk will aid him in that endeavor. We're going to be seeing some early movement here, TP play. It looks like Flo down bottom is trying to be sneaky about his warding, but we already see that RK beat him with a punch. J4 has his observer ward in place and knows exactly what the clockwork's up to.
Yeah, we've got early wards placed, both Arcade's wards super early, which is really nice to have out, and IO already doing IO things. When we look at these lineups as they progress later into the game, it's something really interesting where we've seen IO and Tiny win games, where they're like 15,000 gold behind. But certainly if Windrunner gets good shackles, she's just very able to take over, I think, the game for a point of it. And especially against an IO Tiny, if you shackle them together, which is totally doable, unfortunately, just because of how the two heroes work, especially if Windrunner gets a blink, this game could go south very quickly for Empire, just like the Lost.
Top banner room going to be under contest here. Ice shards could be a big factor if they can just block them off, but they put two inside and that isolates them away. Arctic Burn hits on two heroes, maybe three, and then we have Hoof Stomp that gets the bounty rune to Tiny, but at the cost of his life. First blood will be spilled by Cheshire Cat. Silent will slip itself away, but getting the 1-for-1 on the runes, losing the first blood, it's not pretty.
Yeah,
Actually,
not a good team fight.
Did they get both? Yeah, they got both. Tiny and Clockwork acquired bounty runes, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's not the best because of course Tiny doesn't want to go down there, but as you mentioned, they got both bounty runes, so it's almost evened out. And it's something where Clockwork, of course, is going to be happy to have been nowhere involved. Now, Barash's lane here, do you think he can still get some last hits against this IO Tiny combo in lane? Or is it just going to be all sad days for the Windrunner?
Well, unfortunately, he did steal Shackle Shot for that opportunity that he found there on top runes, so that's a little bit frustrating. But all in all, it still, I think, comes down to, now that he has Windrun level 1, it just stay out of range of Tiny's Avalanche. If you stay out of range of Tiny's Avalanche, the toss play shouldn't work against him. Resolution already testing that out. Toss back all the way to the range, and while he will be evading some strikes, he will receive the Tether Slow, and Barrage will be taken there. I don't know if he goes down. It's a very squishy hero, but the healing cell under the tower and the Shackle Shot ×2. Still, it is the fall, and that's the catalyst. Just Avalanche range, and that's going to work out.
The timing was so perfect on that. So IO was stacking up, Aloha Dance was stacking up the jungle, and just because of when Tiny tossed, Aloha Dance could come back in time to make the slow happen on the tether. Just beautiful play from Empire, and maybe this will be the Empire that strikes back, but either way, up top lane, we do have the Darkseer Tusk lane, and Silent, have fun. I don't know how he's gonna get any last hits up here.
Well, he's tanky. He's got a Mango, he's got his Stout Shield, he's got his Return, but yeah, it's quite difficult. He's only got 60 attack damage. Shadow Demon's not great on attack damage either, only 55, so really, he really wants to find kills. Like, actually, CS is gonna be quite limited, power, etc. He's still on 7-0 because this is Silent. This guy's a farming master, but at the same time, I think kill opportunities is more what they want, and that would require a Shadow Demon flanking to a very vulnerable position.
Yeah, also early levels they don't have as much trouble dealing with the Ion Shell and so on, but I imagine as this progresses, also Silent already picked up a point in return, so I imagine now gonna start maxing out Double Edge, but got options if he wants to. Now Tron also uncontested farm down bottom, and you already mentioned a little bit kind of being a centaur into a gyrocopter, not the nicest unless you get quite a bit of farm. And speaking of it, No Fear is actually the target of their aggression. He should be able to set up some sort of, oh, he doesn't get the disruption off and the ice shards come out instead. But Silent's just going for this. I'm not quite sure what he's doing here. He's burning down a lot.
Yeah, just taking a lot of hits here. They don't have any kill potential, so they'll let him go, because otherwise you're just forcing a healing salve and using a lot of your mana. They want to hold on to that snowball and make sure that they have the mana for killing the Shadow Demon, who's just a much easier target. Tusk level 3 has quite a bit of damage, and obviously the level 2 Ion Shell is enough to burn Shadow Demon down quickly. So he wanted the aggression, he wanted to be involved in the pull that was happening. Mid is actually going to be a TP response here. They're going to snowball there instead. The Shackle Shot is perfect, and they're going to go and combo it up with the Ice Shards. IO had overcharged, but he didn't have any bottle charges, and that will be the death of Tiny. A great rotation from Bignum.
Yeah, so unfortunately not quite able to save his Tiny's life, and they get the return kill on the mid. So really nice there. I wonder about, so Flo's level 3, Doxia's level 4. Yeah, Clockwork's having a really rough time, especially when you consider that both heroes on the top lane for Arcade are level 4. That just means that Clock is getting really forced out of lane.
Yeah, having a pretty hard time of it, and Wyvern's been getting some really good pulls on, so that's going to be the Wyvern actually equal experience, almost identical to that Wyvern. We do see the Avalanche connecting. Spirits are going to be doing quite a bit of damage here to Barrage. The toss-up will be the kill, and the response is a little bit belated, but it will be enough to bring down Tiny. Even with this overcharged bottle, it will kill off the big mountain giant, and even Aloha Dance under some huge pressure. The Ice Shard does block him off, and the Splinter Blast will bring him down. So once again, great move from Big Num, and this time J4 joining the party.
Yeah, the rotations by Arcade have really been on point. I don't know whether they're just reading Empire really well, or it's just a case of, I mean, Empire did dive pretty hard there, but either way, they're getting everything they want, and still Centaur, he's getting some farm, but not as much as the Doxia or the Gyrocopter, so Silent's got a lot of work ahead of him. How do you itemize a carry Centaur? I know a long time ago there was like a Manta Centaur build, but I feel like this one is more, you still need the Blink, maybe a Blade Mail?
Blade Mail's interesting. I don't think that anybody really has an incentive to attack somebody with so much raw HP anyways. So
but if you can force the Gyro too, since he's a Gyro, you know, you just kind of...
there's a lot of damage that came out of control. That's true, but all in all, I still think it's just like go for like Blink Axe, essentially. You can go for a Cloak to mitigate some double edge, but that's really all you need. Oh, got a snowball and bring Cheshire Cat in. That's such a smart snowball, but the movement speed of Silent is just enough that they're actually having to now fully disengage. Nice Splinter Blast on multiple heroes, but there's that toss, Hoof Stomp we were talking about. So, Cheshire Cat body blocked up, Avalanche, and Double Edge brings them down. A really good rotation Wisp, allowing Silent to pull them in, and for Empire to knock them out.
Yeah, and a pretty big rotation, really good on both the Wisp and the Tiny too. The Wisp just walked, the Tiny of course TPing in, so really nice for them. And also this space kind of helping Clockwork in bottom a little bit just because his team's busy getting kills. They rotated the Wyvern to go stack. Clockwork getting a little bit more farm. Or levels, which is more important for him. His early 6 rotation, he's one of the few who you can catch the Windrunner, and it's actually a pain for her, since if you get the cogs off and the battery assault, she can Windrun all she wants. It doesn't help.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm curious if the Gyrocopter actually goes for a Manta style, maybe not first item, but second one. There's one, when Centaur was actually really prevalent in the scene, very common counter item to him would be the Manta style. What you would do is just use it right in the middle of the hoof stomp animation, and it would actually just net you a kill. Some smoke juggling here from Tusk and Darkseer, clearing out the stacks that Io and Tiny were looking. But
actually huge.
It was actually very consistent. The invulnerability frame dodge with Manta versus Hoof Stomp, you would see like 2/3 of the time practice players would be able to counter it out just with that item alone. Along with the stack Jack, they're able to also acquire a Shadow Demon pickoff. So he was just looking to stack the creeps one more time.
It's actually pretty big that they got the creep camps there, I feel, because the Io, he's off stacking and everything. You really want level 6, and this Io is making good progress, actually. If they get this kill, Io is going to be making great progress. If you can get level 6 before 10 minutes in, you're pretty happy as an Io, and one of the ways you do that is you spend so much time stacking that you're expected to leech some experience while Tiny does those stacks, and losing a full stack puts you a bit further behind. Now, this Io, Aloha Dance, has been having a great old time. He's actually got a bunch of kill involvement, so he's got higher levels than most, but it's still really bad to lose the stack. Your opponents get rich, you lose out on gold, everything sucks.
And they didn't even get a chunk for that experience, really. That was already gone before they got anywhere nearby. Warriors right on top of Bloke here. They're going to get Tron involved as well, but he'll just TP right to his tier 1 tower. Is that intentional? Right back into the call down, and down he goes.
It could have been intentional so that he could just get out of danger, but he probably meant to TP on the back line, so didn't realize he, as you said, he was like right in there. But we got a snowball up top. Looks like there's going to be a Warriors punch to follow, and he walks right through the wall, Centaur. No way you wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, is there
pop that ult.
Could have gone though? Like, that was such a really good execution, too.
Yeah, there wasn't much hope. Kind of questionable then arguably to pop the ult there, but again, it's not the longest of cooldowns, so it's kind of like, if I could have gotten out.
He hoped he could get out, but Darkseer's wall is the trump card there.
So, really nice play coming out from Arcade. Again, I feel like they're doing a good job of working themselves towards an early lead. Not as dominant as last game, but they're certainly doing a great job.
Never underestimate the Wisp Tiny though. That relocate, like you said, is coming along. He's already got his urn and bottle. Just needs the magic wand, and he'll be pretty much good to go with his core item set. Yeah, and at that point, the Centaur working his way to Blink Dagger. He's got 1150 banked up and pushing that one out. But trying to prevent that, maybe Cheshire Cat and Big Gnome look for an opportunity. It looks like they feel like they're the ones being aggressed upon. They're just kind of back off so they don't get baited.
I also wonder here whether, I mean, Empire hasn't used any smokes. They've got 3 in stock. There are 2 in stock for Arcade. It feels like Arcade used the earlier smoke to get the creeps in the jungle. It feels like smokes could really help turn around this game. I mean, it's one thing, the first relocate of the game is always a big deal, but maybe some smokes, even if they're just to get up vision, so you can make sure those relocates are safe, because that's another problem. It's really hard to relocate without vision, because you might relocate into enemies. If you smoke and get the vision, you're going to be doing okay, and Io has hit the level 6 as they kill off another stack. So they've got some options here, I feel, on Empire. Definitely not in the deficit they were last game.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We'll see, they were kind of waiting for the speed to come back up, but now that they have that, they can definitely go for those plays and lock down a target. Clockwork hookshot cogs is a natural and a very common way to set up a relocate, just because you're at least initiating on one hero there, they can't get out of those cogs, and the IO Tinies that are back it up. Stampede, jump, and slow is going to be another way to accomplish that. But what a lot of teams do is they do it blind, and they don't have aggressive vision. What we're actually going to be seeing is exactly what you're mentioning. It's going to be smoke and invis, but it is going to be a deep observer ward that cannot be scouted thanks to the Smoke of Deceit, and that's actually exactly what they need to do.
Oh, but no fear. Okay, yeah, he has the invis as well. Sorry, for a second I was like, what are you doing? And then I remembered he had an invis. I was like really concerned there. But yeah, he's just doing some casual scouting. He doesn't decide. I don't know whether he's going to place it back over this side. I mean, obviously he has to be careful because the heroes are around, but I do agree with you. That's a really good spot to have it. But he might just be like, nope, there's too many people. It's dangerous. Oh, he's thinking about it. He's gonna he's gonna break their smoke. Oh no, he doesn't.
And the smoke remains. That's good and bad. Ward will stay, and they won't be like, oh, who was hiding underneath that bush there. But at the same time, we are going to be seeing that this rotation should be a bit of a surprise to the Centaur, who's getting ever closer to Blink Dagger, and really should be heading home right now. But the Tranquil Boots, he's like, yeah, I can another creep wave. I'm going to be full HP, and full HP will be insufficient with the hero smoke behind.
Yeah, and we will see what else is coming out. They're at about a 3,000
gold.
gold.
Maybe on Barrage? I think they want it, but now Barrage is going to win run away.
In the meantime, Tron gets top tower, and they're able to secure that lickety-split. So I'm trying to adjust something on the mic. Apparently people can hear the other keyboard in the room, but I didn't know it was coming through. Folks, if there's still issues, please let us know. Either way, getting back into it, Tiny, he's got drums. It's a very common pickup. It's great stats, helps the hero out a lot. Probably working on Aghanims next, you'd say, or do you think this is a Blink Tiny game?
I don't think they need Blink. They have Clockwork and Blink, so they're going to be fine on the Blink, the quick initiation. We're going to see a relocate here onto the Wyvern, and it will be a quick pick before he can cast the Winter's Curse. Really good resolution. Just literally all he does is cast Avalanche on the spot before they're even in that vicinity, before the relocate even completes, and as soon as he's in range, the Avalanche comes out. So while Wyvern has the units, all Tiny has to do is target the ground. Technically, you can actually counter that by, if you look at the Tiny emit, if like the creep wave sees Tiny, you can technically tell Wyvern to do the exact same thing to the Tiny before he relocates, but it's so difficult to do that in just 2.5 seconds.
100%, and it's, as you said, it's all about quick fingers, and sometimes it comes from the jungle and you can't do it, whereas Tiny knows where he's relocating. All of those advantages for the Tiny IO combo, so we're seeing them working their way out of this deficit, and I like it. Now Flo, do you go for the clockwork, since there is something like the gyro? Are you blade mail clock, or again force stop, which we've been seeing dominate the day?
Yeah, that's actually a close decision. Like, compared to the Centaur, I think Clockwork's going to get a lot more value out of the Blade Mail. He's always going to be caught in that little arena, and somebody's going to want to fight out against him. A Wind Ranger, very commonly, just tries to focus fire down to Clockwork when she gets caught inside cogs, and I could imagine Gyro doing something similar. So I think Clockwork actually could benefit a lot from the Blade Mail. But end of the day, if he wants to go Force Staff, I think that creates a lot of value too.
Yeah, and I think that
is under attack.
I don't know, I just like the options and the fact that Empire is doing a great job of just slowing down this game. At the same time, Arcade, they are smoked up again, looking for something, or is it just the Wyvern? No, they have some other people smoked up. Because they definitely have people attacking the tower who are not, and I don't think they're catching anyone here. They're hoping that somebody comes out, you know, the very common, the smoke, the poison scouting. So just gonna have to give up a tier 1. They still have a couple left, so I wouldn't be as worried.
Just kind of, for right now, what they want is the Clockwork to go and the Relocate to come through, and then the Wyvern to come line and get that Winter's Curse out, but they're not taking that bait. They'll let a tier 1 fall if they have to, because they know that Arcade is moving as 5, essentially. Looks like Barrage is going to come back and that, but just all in all, good game sense for both teams, knowing what they want to accomplish, but Empire wins out on the mind games in the end. I still like this ward they're leaving. It's outside the sentry range of the normal ward if you put one up there, but we're actually going to catch no fear here. We hang out with the Winter Wyvern. That's actually going to be a really interesting ultimate, which won't be saving the Winter Wyvern, but it will be killing the Shadow Demon in the process.
He committed suicide there, the Shadow Demon. How? Yeah, look at the chat log. Which exact interaction is that?
That means his illusion killed him. Literally, the Shadow Demon illusion, or the Winter Wyvern illusion, killed the Shadow Demon when the Winter's Curse was in effect.
Nice. Okay.
Very interesting.
I haven't seen that one before. I can honestly say I haven't seen the Shadow Demon commit suicide before, but that is unfortunate, and yeah, that is one of the bugs. I mean, I don't know if it's meant to count as suicide. It shouldn't count as suicide
it should count as Wyvern, but...
Yeah. But it happens the same thing with Rubik as well, where, like, Winter's Curse with Rubik, bunch of broken interactions, Winter's Curse in general. So, fun to see that one. Wyvern probably a bit upset, but it's Dota.
In the end, I wouldn't say it's, like, the make or break thing. I mean, that's, like, half a cloak, maybe, for J4, but crazy.
Yeah, so either way, we've got a blink up on the center and also a nice little ring of health. Do you think this is a Vanguard game? I wasn't expecting something like the Crimson Guard, but it's certainly good against the illusion potential coming out.
Crimson is actually amazing against both Gyrocopter and Wind Ranger. They both hit a lot of small instances of attacks. Like the Gyrocopter, he doesn't have, early on he doesn't have a lot of attack damage, but he spreads it 5 times over when he's hitting all 5 heroes. So getting the Crimson Guard, blocking all that damage. Oh, could be a good initiation. They're going to go for the Stampede. Tron is fast, but is he fast enough to see the Relocate coming through? The Wyvern is just kind of ignored completely as they all go for the Gyrocopter and nearly lose their lives. In fact, the Star will fall, and now Shadow Demon is going to be going down without disruption. We got 2 seconds on the Relocate. He'll bring back Tiny, but that leaves Slow in the dust, and the Shackle is perfectly lined up to bring him down as well. One more hit from the Splitter Blast, and that's a 3-for-1 with Empire doing the initiating. I think the Gyrocopter just did a marvelous job of dragging that one out.
Yeah, really well done. Got a massive amount of damage, good cooldown. I was gonna say, I also think the Crimson Guard, as you said, there's the Gyrocopter Flat Cannon, there's Windrunner, of course, with Focus Fire, and then there are potentially the Illusions coming out from Doxia, all of which are like, yeah, Crimson Guard could be good. But I don't know if it's like first item material. I don't know if maybe Cento wants a little bit of something in between, but his options are weird this game because I guess you...
Crimson has an amazing build-up. Like, you're building a Vanguard. Like, that's an item that you're like, I don't have to invest too much in that. Ring of Health, Vit Booster, Stout Shield. I mean, he's like 600 gold away from the Vanguard, which is the main build-up into the Crimson Guard. I feel like that's a really fine first item. In fact, the earlier the better.
Yeah, and I also think that it's better than, I mean, the other potential items I can see here is you can go kind of like the utility centaur with a force staff or something as well, which isn't bad here. You have to get over ice shards, and there's a couple other things where it would be nice to have the force staff just to get in and get out, but I certainly would prefer a tankier item against something like the Gyrocopter and the Windrunner, but such is the Dotes. We've got Barrage halfway to his Aghanim Scepter, gonna get a decent timing on that. And it looks like we're sacking the Wyvern this game over the Tusk, which makes sense. Although I was expecting Tusk. Never mind. What I was about to say is dumb. Tusk is going towards the Glimmer Cape. I'm just gonna say that.
Maybe. Shadowblade will be decent.
Oh, yeah. He's support though, so I don't know. Often the support Tusks go the Glimmer, and then like the off-lane Tusks go Shadow, but both are great, and you can kind of do very similar things with both. It really hurts your opponent's economy either way.
There's a couple of things that I really like about the Shadow Blade here, one main thing is the ability to assassinate the Wisp really quickly. You get a burst damage to the Wisp, you kill him before the Tiny can react, and that Tiny is half as powerful as before easily. So taking that Wisp heal and the overcharge out of the equation is a really big deal, and it probably is their prime objective. This kind of comes down more to the late game, like really late game, but if Bignum can then transition that Shadow Blade into a Silver Edge and break the craggy exterior, that only takes some armor away, but it means that the heroes don't have to be BKB'd to hit him in melee range.
Now we've got Silent popping his ult, but no, you can't run there, you're blocked! Oh my
looks
goodness.
like he's getting some distance, but it's not actually taking him anywhere. He's like running on a treadmill.
That was really upsetting. I also agreed with him there. Like, if you look there, you wouldn't think that was blocked, but he was blocked. So, Silent goes down.
The trees are cut down. That's what so deceptive.
No, really unfortunate for Silent, and he again doesn't get to use that ult. I think in the fashion that he wants to. But gonna just have to go for it now. Shadow Demon, you said you love playing this hero. He's not getting much spawn, but let's say that he does. What do you go? I mean, I know Ags is decent, but it's not really a first item on the Shadow Demon. You already got an urn up on IO. Are you just building another Glimmer Cape for your team as well?
Yeah, I mean, this hero's a lot more invested in his skills than it is in his items. Like, yeah, Axe is great, all the good utility items, Vlads, and Force Staff, and Blink, and Ghost up here is probably pretty common. Like, you're very frequently up against, like, some or that can just destroy you with physical damage, so you get a Ghost to respond to that. But I mean, honestly, he could just keep on warding all game long, sit on Tranquil Boots on Wand, and he's extremely useful just for his skills alone.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a hero like that, but unfortunately as a 5-position support, maybe you're not into that type of life. This movement reeks of them going for a smoke, and they have one on the Wyvern, but I guess wanting to finish off the farm, and the rocket is not quite in range, so there goes the smoke. Now, neither lineup has a super easy early Roshan. I guess Tiny can always be involved, but they still need a bit of damage, it feels like, on both.
Silent blink creeps. You don't blink in, you blink out. In this case, that does cost him his life. Win rate is failing the Aghanim Scepter, and no Gear getting caught out as well, despite disruption to delay it. Yeah,
a nice disruption. I think the missile didn't actually hit him there. Hard to see, but really a rough play. And again, Empire, they're starting to fall behind. These pickups from Arcade doing good work. They had a number of really great relocates. They had like 3 or 4 of them, which worked out well. But since then, Aloha Dance and Resolution not doing enough work.
And they're not pushing the top tier too, interestingly enough. Like, do they not know Roshan is going on? No, they have no vision technically, but they have to suspect that after a 2-minute off like that, an arrow-loaded Wind Ranger is going to want to go for the pit. And so yeah, they're not pushing on the tier 2. Which is usually really fast with the Aghanims. And now, only now they get the rocket flare out, and obviously they haven't been making the most of that time. Silent looking for the snatch, but he's got out by the snowball, goes for the stampede, and he's punched up in the air. There's a hook shot in, there's a relocated, massive AoE damage in the pit. Clockwork will snatch the Aegis while the Radiant will claim it, Roshan's life, and up on the cliff somehow is Barrage, who gets nuked down in the end. J4 goes down, and the relocate sending Wisp back to actually start hitting that tower as mentioned before. How did
That's our third snatch? That's our third snatch of the day, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And is it just ice shards that knock Wind Ranger up there? I don't even know. Like,
oh, I think... Yeah, it might have been the ice shards, there might have been some weird... I have no idea how she... or the cogs could have pushed her in. Probably Flo. Flo played beautifully there, by the way. Flo, Silent went in a bit too early. It's really hard, though. Like, they thought it was going to fall faster just because they overestimated Windrunner's damage. And then Flo was like, okay, Silent, you made a mess of it. I got this. I've got it. And yeah, snatches the Aegis. Another one of those, and just really winning them the team fight. They also forced... Somebody bought back, I thought, so I'll check that out.
Yeah, the Darkseer did not much avail though.
Yeah, and that's really rough there, so a really good job from Empire, and showing they're still kicking. You're not out of this yet.
AC about to come out on the Tiny, Glimmer Cape stuff for the Wisp, and pretty much all you can ask for. Centaur Warrunner, Ring of Regen would imply to me the Force Staff. There
could be Crimson Guard, right?
But I don't like it.
Doesn't that go into...
doesn't have that component.
I thought it had a headdress in it. I can't click on it right now because like all the items coming out. Anyway, Darkseer has picked up a gem, and I like this. I like early gems. It helps you dominate. Oh, it's the buckler. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I thought for some reason it was the headdress. That's what happens when you don't pick Crimson Guard up in your games a bunch. So
best item in the game. Come on, get with it.
No, I don't know what I like buying instead, but yeah, it's as you said, it's a bit situational,
Yeah,
and it
definitely.
depends. So, Vanguard, I agree. I would have liked to see him finished up, but I can understand how, given how the game's going, he's maybe like, I need to get in, get out, because I'm dying too much. So, could be rough there. Now we've got a Glimmer Cape on the dogs here.
Not position for StarLadder. You literally just walk past the Tusk, Fog of War, blocking it all, and then walks right into the Wyvern, blinks away. No harm, no foul.
And then Windrunner just hastes by him as well. It was a weird series of events. Tusk did end up going the Shadowblade you talked about, and as you mentioned, I do agree with you. It's probably just in hopes of assassinating the IO. And even in places like this, right, you can maybe get the jump on IO, and you'd be at an advantage, but not able to make it work. And this Empire took the moment of having a slight advantage there to place some really deep wards. So they're going to see if there's a smoke coming out here.
Yep, nice. So the Dire Observer going to be scouting out movement, but we do have that gem in play like you're talking about in Darkseer. We'll at least claim one early on. IO Tiny still looking for the next objective. They pushed out the top lane really hard. That's obviously really important, but I think this bottom lane is actually a really big deal as well. Top lane's technically more important because it's further away from Roshan, and so it's a lot easier to kind of base trade for that objective if you have your distance. But you want your side lanes pushed out in general so that you can take towers or take any objective as it becomes available.
Yeah, and since they have the Roshan on the lineup of Empire, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, yes, it's on the clockwork, maybe not the exact hero you want it on, but I guess Tiny is just looking for another item, I'm guessing, is why, because he's got a lot of gold, and it might be that he's saying, hey guys, let's wait on my BKB or something, because I was a little surprised they don't take the rest of these outer tier 2 towers with the Aegis.
Yeah. Witch did just pick up here the Ghost set. That is actually immense versus the Ags Windranger, of course. Also against the Wyvern ultimates. Like if you can Ghost Scepter right before Wyvern ultis you, then Tiny won't be attacking you, which you'll still be disabled, but you're not dying outright, which is nice. You can also combo it up with the Glimmer Cape. You can Glimmer Ghost, and you're very hard to kill. You take amp damage from the Ghost Scepter, but then you reduce that by half with the Glimmer Cape, so it works out.
Definitely, and it's really nice, but they're going to have the wraparound player. Is it going to be broken? We've got Tron, he's coming in. They're all scattered with the rocket. They have to know that there are so many down. We have the hookshot in. At the same time as Tiny is trying to work on Tron, but that's the BKB, and now Slow. He is in the middle of no man's land. He does have that Aegis. Maybe they'll just burn that. It's going to be really close, though. He's going to go down, and that's a good time to burn it. At the same time, we have business on the backlands. Resolution's just hitting creeps. Are they actually going to ignore Flow and just let him go down? VP has helped him out, but then Tiny has killed Big Numb, and that was a nice one discussed with the wall. It's not doing enough work. Are they going to get some secondary kills? Centaur has managed to kill off J4 and Tron. He has no BKB. They just need Avalanche to come back off of cooldown, and they can easily get this kill. And with Centaur being there, they've got it. So
Silent, a madman with the patience. Like, he waited so long for the opportunity, and then he got a 4-man hoof stomp. And Tiny walks over and just starts walloping. The Tusk just bought back. He got dusted out, and that's what Tiny was playing around on the backside.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, they do kill off Big Numb, and then come back to Field Weathers with Winter's Curse now on cooldown. So look how fast this Rax drops. But they're going to start focusing heroes and get Big Numb down quick. There's a vacuum, but there's no wall. And Cheshire Cat just can't do anything to keep this base safe. In fact,
this is GG.
Self is going to be another kill. Rax going down, and that's going to be the game. Empire strike back, and they bring us to game 3.
Yeah, really nicely played. It was very close for a little bit there. Actually, if we look at the net worth graph, oh, it just died. It shoots down at the very end there, so it's really good. So,
yeah, just really smoothly played. They executed well, honestly. Like, this isn't a draft win, I wouldn't say. I think they had some good potential with this draft, but by no means did the hero picks themselves do the heavy lifting. Empire themselves executing on a whole nother level, and Arcade just not ready for it.